Welcome back. All right, so we're going to start with the news item at the bottom of the board because this just came out, and this is why I wait until later in the day to do my last news video of the day. This should be it. Zach Werenski went to Columbus and said, so I'd like to make all the money. And Columbus went, well, Seth Jones is gone, so why not? He probably answered with, can I get a little bit more than Jones got? And they went, sure. So Werenski gets a 6-year extension, which will kick in next year. The cap hit, $9.583 million per season. It's a lot of money for Zach Werenski. I like Zach Werenski a lot. This contract kind of catches me off guard just a little bit. It's a lot of money. And again, this is the kind of money you would normally expect for somebody who is a Norris favorite. And yes, Werenski at some point could win himself a Norris Trophy. But yeah, Columbus has decided we're going to move on from Jones. We're not moving on from Werenski. And here we are. And so let me know in the comment section below, is this right about where you expect Werenski to be? Or what does this do for the asking price for other guys who are RFAs? Players who might be a year out? Players who might be restricted free agents right now? That's a lot of money, right? So yeah, some players who might look at him as a comparable, probably big thumbs up to this. That's a lot of, that's not bad. $57 million for 6 years isn't too shabby, is it? And then the Rangers. The reason I'm wearing a Rangers jersey, they go out and they get Ryan Reaves from Vegas. There you go. So they toughen up their bottom six a little bit. Vegas 2022 third round pick. Now we saw in the playoffs that Reaves was a healthy scratch often. You could see that he wasn't really in DeBoer's plans. If Reaves can channel that energy that he's got, I think the Rangers have got themselves a decent player. Now, there's no offense with Reaves. It is purely a move that's made to add that sandpaper to the bottom six and mean that every time the Rangers play the Capitals, oh, it's going to be must-watch TV. So, yeah, Ryan Reaves goes to the New York Rangers. Vegas gets a third-round pick next year, and the winners are the fans who get to watch these games. And since I watch all the hockey games, Capitals, Rangers, there you go. So if you're a Rangers fan, you're like, where's all the toughness? It's right there, Ryan Reaves. We'll see how that turns out for them. Matthew Perreault has signed a very reasonable contract with the Montreal Canadiens, a very team-friendly $950,000 for 1 year. And, yeah, I like that contract. I also like the contract that Carolina signed Brendan Smith to. 1 year for $800,000. He can play on the blue line. He can play forward. Pesek, who's also still out there without a contract right now. Pesek and Smith are both kind of in that same vein. They can play either forward or defense, depending on what you need. And, yeah, we'll see how Smith does for the Carolina Hurricanes. This morning as well, the Ottawa Senators did announce the extension of DJ Smith's contract, their head coach. He was going into his final year in the contract, and they get him signed. So good move by the Ottawa Senators. Make sure you don't have a lame duck coach behind the bench, and they did exactly that. Now, of course, if you're wondering where the Jack Eichel trade is, well, we're all wondering. But apparently, if you're Kevin Adams, you're not overly concerned. Drager's reporting that the team's not feeling any pressure to trade Eichel. And again, he's under contract. I know he's not happy. I get that. That's at least the word from everybody around the hockey world, right? But the Sabres don't feel any pressure to make a trade, or at the very least not right now. And so we'll see how long that remains the case. If you're wondering how much money's been doled out on day one of free agency, this does not include the Werenski contract, just going to say, because that would add a lot of money to this. 163 signings in the first day of free agency, $785 million worth of contracts. Today, 40 signings and adding a total of $76 million. So far, the contracts add up to about $860 million. So yeah, the NHL handing out some silly money over the last couple of days, and that's over 200 players signing contracts. That includes re-signings as well. I haven't been reporting on the re-signings because then it just gets silly. It gets ridiculous. Now the other problem is that now baseball's got their they've got their trade deadline, and basketball, we're seeing trades of basketball right now as they're having their entry draft. So Yeah, my Twitter feed is kind of a confusing mess. I half expect Russell Westbrook to end up being traded to the Carolina Hurricanes before the day's out. And maybe see a couple of baseball players end up on the Senators, just because, sure, why not? But anyways, yeah, the notables of the remaining unrestricted free agents, these are UFAs. Palmieri, Krejci, who we know is going to be returning to the Boston Bruins in the event that he does decide to continue his career in the NHL. Nick Ritchie, still without a contract. Tatar, mildly surprised Tatar doesn't have a deal yet. Donato, Cahoon, Marcus Johansson, Ryan Murray, Cizikas, Eric Stahl, Chara, Hogberg, Hauser, and of course Chara's waiting his time. Hauser, of course, showed that he could play when he was called up to Buffalo and he was called upon. We'll see if that gets him a tryout. Of course, Josh Hosang has a tryout with the Toronto Maple Leafs this fall. We'll see how that goes for him. And yeah, so I've been trying to keep it as simple as possible and report on the guys who probably play in the NHL this year. But yeah, I could fill multiple boards. When you've got 203 guys that have signed contracts over the last 48 hours, I can't have all 203 on a board. So yeah, there you go. Or, just over the multiple videos I've had to do. But thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. The Werenski contract, yay on that, nay on that. Do you like Columbus's, we're going all in on this player? Does Columbus maybe have the ability to do this because they have seen so many of the big name, big money guys leave town, so they can afford to throw this kind of money at a guy and keep him around and make that their focal point on the blue line? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.